Call this meeting to order, determine if there's a quorum present. Commissioner Wardlaw is here, Commissioner Vasquez, Commissioner Nettleton, Commissioner Flores, and myself. We have a quorum. Recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Will the fellow please rise? Commissioner Nettleton is the leader of the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Meeting adjourned. Jesus Christ. Approving the minutes. We did have minutes from the previous meeting.
Move.
We have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. We had, Fernando Garcia. You here?
He wants to wait till we get
Okay.
to the item
That's
of
what I was gonna
the...
ask. Is he here?
Not yet.
Okay.
He said he's looking at that.
Citizens' comments, none. When we get there, we will not go against. Approving subdivisions last.
You're getting too fancy.
Morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, how we doing?
Fine, and you?
Doing good.
This is, I have this subdivision and I have another one on item 37. Do we need to present both or?
Let's get it done.
Okay, can you
Do one
put
at a
the item
time.
six?
They're two different deals, right?
Yes,
Do one at a time, we'll make motions on each one and we'll go on.
okay.
Whatever the motion may be.
This is replat of Lot A, Chaparral State subdivision, consists in subdividing Lot A, which was previously recorded on slide 560 of the Valverde County map records, into 14 lots. The owner of this tract is Gustavo Flores, and it's being proposed by Monson Bureau Engineering. This application was brought last month, and the application has been posted on the county website continuously since then. Really notices to every owner.
Everything's been met?
Yes.
Water, sewer?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion, and a second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor?
Aye.
4-0 vote, one abstention.
I'm abstaining, yes, sir.
All right, let's go next.
Okay, the next one is on item 37.
Item 37. Okay, let's get there. Item 37, replat approval, tract D1 and D2 out of tract D, Justin Burke subdivision as recorded, slide 131, slide A, Alvarez County map of records.
Motion to approve.
Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Is that it? Approve the certificates? None? Approving monthly, reports from elected officials. Have a motion, Commissioner Flores. Second Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Approving bills for payment.
Move.
Second. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Auditors report.
Move.
Second. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. Matt? Anything?
No, you guys are good. I'm good.
All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. And item 11, budget adjustment, $36,225.75 to County Administrator for Court. Approved appropriations account.
Does this get reimbursed by grants or what?
No, this is not going to be reimbursed by grants. This,
Money set aside.
Okay. Motion to approve and take out a contingency.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton,
Second.
second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Matt, if you don't mind, for the next meeting, should give us a total of everything we've taken out of contingency so we know where we're running on that.
okay, that should be in
It is in
your,
the report, but could you just do one sheet for us?
can do it.
Item 12, authorizing a transfer of $3,500 to precinct 4 travel budget from available appropriations.
Judge, I'd like to do, moving money from operating. And the reason I'm needing this kind of money is, I'm gonna attend a conference in June. And I don't really have money to pay.
The money is coming out of your own budget.
Yes, sir.
Is that a
Got a
motion?
motion?
Yes.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Item 13, approval for the Affordable Care Act reporting and tracking service renewal agreement and authorized county judge to sign.
That's no big deal, that's just our ACA reporting.
Move.
Just need you.
Second. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Treasurer's report, ma'am?
Is this the one we need to vote on?
This is a good one.
Okay.
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Second. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Before we go on, yes, ma'am, before we go on to the next one, we'll get this signed. Ma'am, if you want, we'll get it signed and give it right back to you that way. Oh, did Aaron have a baby, or his wife, I'm sorry? Well, I heard that last night, so we don't know yet what.
We don't know yet.
Or a girl? What's gonna be a
It's
girl?
gonna be a girl.
Oh, okay, that's right. Well, if you're listening there, congratulations. Aaron's gonna have a baby, that'd be exciting.
Judge, I'll keep it because I have to get baby to sign it.
No worries. You better keep it.
Fine, thank you.
Oh, good. Thank you. Item 15, if you don't mind, we'll come back to that one. Item 16, discussion on Odyssey, Matt. We've been working, there was a thing about 5% in this contract, go up 5%. Matt worked hard to try to get that done away with. And I think one of the plans was no interest. They would not go up for the first 3 years with one of the plans, and then the next year, 2.5, and then they could go up the third year, the fourth year, 2.5.
Correct.
It may go up.
Okay.
And then the fifth year, they may go up 5%, and every year thereafter, may.
Correct.
Not that they would. The contract was written that they could have gone up 5% every year. So we basically say 3 years of no interest. There are 3 years that they would not go up for sure, and then the fourth year, we went down to 2.5. I was all over the place, but that's pretty much, that was probably the best
That,
plan.
out of the three options, that would probably be the best plan.
This is on the annual renewal.
This is on the annual renewal, year one through 3,
Well, what's our annual renewal?
153.
Bottom line is we'd save the 5% if they could go up, didn't say they would.
Mhm.
But at least with this one, with doing this amendment, at least for the first 3 years, we'd save,
And it'll never be above 5% after that?
it would,
Well, then we'd be in a new contract at year 5. Year 6 would be a new
Yeah, but you're
contract.
stuck in the contract. You can't just stop doing business with them.
yeah.
Right.
You're stuck in the contract for eternity.
Well.
Unless you're gonna
Well,
spend
at least
another
for
$2
15
million.
years, because they're still paying for it.
Good point. Right, and then you'd have year 6 would be the contract renegotiations to figure out what percent you're gonna go up for how many years.
That's $7,600 increase, and it could be a $7,600 increase the final year. What is our,
It could.
we're
But-
currently paying how much?
We're currently paying approximately
Okay.
between 70 and 80,000.
80,000.
So the difference would be the 150 minus the 80 would be
About
the
70
extra.
some odd $1,000. But if we were to go and combine, if we pick any other one to combine everything, whether it be EDOC or IDOC, did I get those right? EDOC, IDOC, okay. Those were coming in at a couple $100,000.
They were around 220.
Yeah, so.
Annual renewal.
In annual renewal, if we combined everything. The way it is right now, they're coming in at the $80,000, but if we go to one system for everybody, it jumps up to 200. Why, I don't know.
Well, that includes programs that we don't currently have. Like we don't have the attorney manager, we don't have the prosecutor manager systems.
And this Odyssey program covers everything everybody needs.
Yes, it's the judicial.
And the price is the price. We're not gonna get a surprise. We're not gonna,
Got it. I mean, the price is the price. Now, there is travel in there. However, with the current situation, we're hoping that travel is actually comes in lower. So there, we do have.
so we're gonna
But it's already in
budget,
there.
we're budgeting how much?
1.3.
1.3.
We're doing the tax note for 1.3 and then one for $2 million. Those two dollar amounts will be combined for a total tax note of 3.3. if we were to do if we were to issue that today, the interest rate would be like 1.71. The conversation that we did have earlier, and we'll just jump into that one, about either trying to do a building, so we could receive all the food or whatever for the distribution, that way to distribute it to the precincts. If we were to spend $1 million on that one tax note, if we were to add it to the $3.3 million tax note, at the 1.71% interest, it'd be about $76,000 a year for on the 15-year certificate of obligation.
On a CO.
On a CO, yes, sir. If we do the 7 years, it's double that amount. It goes to 150, the payment. So if we're gonna have that broad conversation right now, okay, do we do Odyssey, or do we try to do something with the food? Or do we try to do both? If we try to do both, it would be, if we spent $1 million on freezers and everything else, it would be about a $76,000 a year.
And the conversation he's talking about is, I brought up to the judge, I want to see us build a central distribution system where everything comes to one system, one central warehouse, and then it's distributed out to everybody that needs it from there. And then that central distribution would have big enough walk-in freezers, big enough walk-in refrigerators, you can run forklifts in and out of pallets and stuff like that.
You're gonna have to create a new department.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be more expenses added to that $1 million.
I understand that, but
We had this conversation at the beginning of our budget in the fiscal year that we're in right now. And then it was like, we're gonna do it, and then we weren't gonna do it. But, I stand like I did the last time. I think we need one place to have everything stored. And it to be able to house anything and everything that we need. And then the commissioners can come get whatever they want. Everybody knows what we have. And then y'all just go distribute. But, if y'all want to do it like that, but we have to have a centralized location to have everything stored and make sure that we have the freezers, make sure we have everything that we need, and we're not, we don't know what we have.
we learned through this lesson that it's very difficult to get supplies in this town on these type of events. And, we've learned, in my opinion, from this lesson that you can't necessarily depend on the state or the federal government. We're gonna have to figure out how to do it ourselves. And I think a central distribution system, and it doesn't mean that each commissioner can't do what they're doing in their precinct. It just means everything comes to one central place, and then wherever we need it, it's distributed from there. I think it needs to be looked at, and I think it needs to be figured out how we can put something like that together.
And the reason that we're talking about this, because we voted to do Odyssey, just so everybody understands, we did vote to do Odyssey. It is part of the $3.3 million certificate of obligation.
Mhm.
So I guess the conversation would be would this court be willing to leave Odyssey in there, just go ahead and continue to move forward, and then if needed, add monies to make sure that we have the freezers, the building, and make sure everything else. If we were to set aside $1 million for that, and borrow that $1 million, the cost to the county would be, at the present interest rate right now, would be about $76,000. Can't read my own writing. I think it's $76,149,000 per year.
By doing that, are we gonna have to increase, tax rate?
I would,
I would totally vote against it if it's gonna do that to the people.
and I wouldn't, I would be willing to, I'm just gonna throw it out there. That right there, that $76,000 is less than 1 penny of tax rate. It would be somewhere in that 3/4 cent range,
Less.
more or less.
About a
Three-quarter,
About a quarter.
quarter, a quarter of a cent range. But even if it was 1 penny, you're talking about $76,000 to where, we'd have everything that we need to be able to hand out food to the individuals and store everything, in one place. I would go on the record that I would be willing to raise the tax rate. I'll just throw that out there. A quarter of a cent to make sure that happens.
I'm willing to do that, but if I have to make a choice, Odyssey's going before the people's needs are going. I'd rather cancel Odyssey and do what we need to do for.
And I guess that's where we're at right now. I mean, my deal is, You know, I think that, I think Odyssey is important. I think we can get it on one, and I think we can get it. We can do it all without raising the tax rate, I really do. But I think Odyssey is important. I wouldn't put one in front of the other. I think we need to do both of them. That's just my opinion. So I guess the conversation right now is on Odyssey, do y'all want to leave that in and move forward, which I think, and I will tell you right now, if we were to back out of Odyssey, the cost is $225,000, $250,000.
235.
For what?
Back out of Odyssey.
No,
Because the
for what?
contract's already been signed, so that's,
I know, but what have they done?
what if they've done nothing?
And we're gonna pay them $200,000?
That's
We
the
signed the
letter that we
contract.
just got, to break the contract. So,
This
I
is a,
would think,
this is a company we're fixing to get in bed with?
Well, I don't understand. We
Huh?
signed the contract. I mean, we signed the contract.
and my
Yes,
deal is,
but under state law, a government entity, if they can't re-budget for it in the following year, those contracts are not
They,
honorable.
that is correct. And then you can play that game that you can't afford it, and then they get to come through your GL and find out why you can't afford it. What you decided to do, if you decide to replace it with something else.
We should replace it with distribution or something.
Okay.
I guess my question is, I think there's enough room here to do everything. I really do.
If we extend the CO to 15 years,
The seniors, yes.
if we go to 20,
I mean,
and I don't have those numbers, I know he gave them to us the other day, but I don't have them in front of me.
yeah, I put my glasses on, so I'm not gonna have them.
I mean, I think there's a conversation about needs that this community has that we have to deal with. We've all experienced this over the last week and what we need. And we've got to figure out.
Our payment goes from like about 256 to about 196 to do the other 5 years. So you're about $60,000
Less,
less if we go the other 5 years.
adding the one,
Not adding the million, just, the regular payment. If we add the million,
we'd be about right back where we're at.
something like that. Oh, damn, that's too many zeros. You're, yeah, right at the same dollar. amount. As soon as my ad goes through, I'll tell you. You're actually right around $1,000 less if we added the million and went to the 20 years, went to 20 versus 15, you're $1,000 less. So it's possible. So I think we keep Odyssey and then we don't have to raise tax rate. And, and that decision could be made when we start our budget year.
That's correct. Yeah, we don't know what taxes are gonna be until the appraisals.
Mhm.
Okay. Until the appraisals come.
No, I mean, we understand.
So we're okay with Odyssey?
We're estimating about where we're at now. And,
That's
We're okay
correct.
with Odyssey, and
That's
we'll have
true.
another discussion on the rest of it.
well, if we're gonna issue the CO, I mean, we have a discussion in here.
I have it in here, and they have not.
And
I
we're
didn't
gonna
get
have to
any,
issue it soon.
I didn't get anything for this meeting, so we'll do it on the next meeting, which is already next week anyway.
And then we'll have to have that discussion if we're gonna add it or not.
Yes. Okay. The Odyssey, though, there is a discussion on the program. What they sent us was to amend the contract. It was Plan A, which was, that they would not go up for the first 3 years on the annual and the percentage.
Okay.
Plan A was that on Odyssey, what they sent us was that the first 3 years, they would not go up anything on our annual fee.
That's one of the plans, yes.
Okay, that's the best plan. The one I'm talking about is
The
the
best,
best.
the 5 year, yes, that's correct.
And then the fourth year, if I'm not mistaken, that they may be able to go up 2.5.
Correct.
They're not saying they would, but they could go up 2.5% of the contract for the annual fee for 1 year.
Mhm.
And then the fifth year, they could go up 5% of whatever the annual contract is.
That's correct.
But they're not even gonna have the program up and running for 3 years.
No.
2 years. It takes 2 years to get this
Yeah, but
thing
we
up.
were fixing to get charged.
I think it may
5%.
be,
Yeah, so what are they charging me for? What are they charging me
14
for?
months. To have it fully integrated, approximately 14 months.
So,
But what they're charging for is they have to stand up the servers and they're gonna start to.
no, I understand that's part of the
Well,
1.3,
they're
but
charging
the annual renewal,
Mhm.
what are they charging you for if the program isn't up and running?
To stand up the servers.
They're charging.
That's what they're charging me $1.3 million for.
No, the 1.3 is for the conversion onto the data, onto the servers.
But for 2 years though, that was put in there.
Mhm.
The annual fee was put in there.
I'm sorry,
The
say-
annual, what we pay as annual was already included 2 of those years into the 1.3 million.
correct.
Yes. But they had an option though, in that contract,
To go
that
up.
they could go up 5%.
Each
And
year.
that's what we're arguing right now. I didn't like that. So last week and the week before, we were, I was a little bit upset, with the way the contract was written, even though we read it once, but it just seemed the more you read it, the more, you just got a little more angry. So we were in the same boat you were. How are you going to charge me for something that's not completely set up? And I get it. We've had this conversation. It's part of the program, it is, but I just wasn't real comfortable being charged that they may be able to go 5% if it's not up.
No, I agree with you. I mean, my bigger issue is we're gonna vote to continue with Odyssey, and we're not gonna know if we're gonna continue to do what we need to do for the community until some other meeting, and I have a hard time voting to spend 1.3 if we're not gonna take care of the issues that are at hand.
Well, the rest of the stuff for the community, I mean, it's gonna get taken care of. I mean, you know, and I get your point, Commissioner. Do you spend this $1.3 million, or the way you're putting it is, do you spend the $1.3 million, or do you take care of our community? I think we can do both.
No, I think we can do both financially. The question is the court willing to do that?
Okay. If the court decides not to go with Odyssey, I will throw this out there. There's a $235,000 fee that we will have to argue with Odyssey over, that in reality, I think we're gonna end up having to pay. And that's, I mean, we're gonna argue it, but I think we'll end up having to pay it. And we know that, you know, every time that we jump into attorney's fees, it's a $15,000 to $40,000 bill just to read a letter. Yeah, so I guess, I think we can do both.
It makes me nervous that we're jumping in bed with a company that is willing to sue us, and we only had this conversation to sign a contract 2 weeks ago, and they're already willing to sue us over it, and we're fixing to jump in bed with them, and yeah, that doesn't set well with me.
Well, my conversation was, my address is 400 Pecan. But at the end of it, once you look at the whole thing, I think we need the program. I think we can do the program and do anything else that this court decides needs to be done with the food distribution or whatever, and still remain within our lines, let's put it like that. Even if we were to go out.
My bigger concern is we do this and we move forward, and then we come back in 2 weeks, and then the court decides they don't want to spend the money that we need to do. I mean, there's a whole bunch of other conversations that need to be had about stuff that we need.
Let's just
To make sure
table
we
it and
don't-
bring it back at our
We
next
don't do
meeting.
this. Well, I think we're stuck with
If we
it.
table it, what's gonna be our goal?
What we
We're gonna
can
have
do-
more discussions.
Well, we can digest more the contract and the dollar amount and,
Well, the dollar amount right now, I think we've gone through everything right now, and now we know that where we're at completely. Whether we back out, don't back out, or whatever, I think we're there now. The discussion would be, I guess, it's pretty simple. Do y'all want honesty, or don't you want honesty? If you don't, then it's gonna cost you $200,000. And then we move on, and we have, $1.1 million that was already budgeted as a certificate of obligation that we could move over to go do something else with. We just need to change the language on the way we were gonna reimburse ourselves and have Raul Villaseñor, draft that up. I think we can do it, but it's court decision. I mean, I'm just giving y'all options and opinions.
Yeah, would you like to hear from the elected officials who actually using the software on their wants and needs and desires?
We're sitting there like,
They are.
Well, let's wait. Commissioner?
yes.
Lotus? Would you like to-
I mean, to me, it's more important to centralize, have a building for food distribution. The need has not been present from last week to today. has been present for many, many years, the need here in this community for the people, to get, help with food. And I've been a witness to it. I've been doing it for 11 years. Started with Texas A&M, Colonia's food distribution. So, to me, I mean, Odyssey can wait.
Okay, I can't see you. Do you mind if I get up?
No, I don't want you to see.
Would you, I can't see you. Would y'all, the number that was just given to you, was that we could remain within the $256,000 payment per year if we went another 5 years and still keep Odyssey and set $1 million aside for the building.
I can support that.
It's that simple. And the caveat is, at the tax rate that we're at right now. And if the tax rate, if not the tax rate, if the interest rate goes up, it still shouldn't matter. The payment's gonna be more, but the payment would be the same as a 15-year or 20-year, but yet you'd have another $1 million put in there for whatever the court would decide to do on food distribution, whether it be freezers or whether it be a building or centralized location, but you have the money to be able to handle more product and store it.
I think we need a building, department to manage that. And, I mean, it's gonna be another,
Can you see? Yes?
another project, which will be a good project for the community, but,
So before we ask them, would y'all be okay before they come up? Because they're gonna tell you that we need it and y'all like it. Is that what y'all are gonna say?
Not all of them. Not all of them.
Here that would like to have a say, I can say that.
You wanna come up? Y'all wanna talk to it?
Judge, I feel like, whatever y'all feel is best, we're still doing our job anyways with what we have.
Yeah, so,
I think we've been doing our job. It's gonna.
I think the main thing was is that it would help, not only with,
Yeah, because we're having to deliver papers, in person, we have to be going to the district clerk or.
and this would eliminate all this. The process would be
That
streamlined.
helps.
Now, this process would be streamlined even with the sheriff's office. Even with our reporting on, what we report to the state, your CR, whatever we call it.
LCA. LCA.
Yeah, so all that would be done.
43.
So would y'all be okay in moving forward, even if we had to?
I'll make a motion that we leave Odyssey in, add the million for, distribution and extend it to 20 years.
Okay, I need a second.
Second.
Have a motion, did we get that?
Yes, sir.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner, Vasquez, all those in favor?
All right.
5-0 vote. Thank you. Ratify a memorandum of understanding between San Felipe Federal Consolidated Independent School District and Holiday County. County attorney has reviewed it. Basically, they applied for a grant and they needed to have a partner.
Motion to approve.
second.
And motion, Commissioner Nelson, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? 5-0 vote. Discussion possible action on water district bill filed by Roland Gutierrez. I don't know if I can put the thing on the deal.
I've read this thing. It was filed without asking us if we even wanted to pursue a groundwater district or if we had any language that we wanted to add to it. It appears to be something that was put together by I don't know who, but it is a hodgepodge of different things that have been discussed for the last 20 years. I have a huge problem with a senator or a state rep filing a bill that deals with Val Verde County without asking us our opinion or asking us if we want any say-so in it. I'm going to make a motion that we provide a letter of opposition to Senate Bill 656 and to oppose this legislation.
Second. Could part of that bill be that, put together can't be three, it has to be two, little group? you and me to visit with him, and then if we can get some of that thing changed, then, if we can get it changed, then bring it back to the court. It's your, I mean,
Yeah, I don't-
you're in opposition, but we still have to have talking points with us.
And I'm fine with us having a conversation. I'll amend my motion that the judge and myself will meet with him and have a discussion about this. I can say I have visited with Representative Morales. He is not moving forward with a groundwater bill until he has time to visit with us about this. But this is the second time we've had our state representatives and people file a bill that deals with Valverde County and not one single conversation with the county, the city, or anybody in this town, and I have a huge problem with that.
Second that motion, Judge.
Okay, have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Wardlaw, all those in favor?
All right,
5-0 vote, and if you will get,
if you draft we'll draft
Tom,
an resolution of opposition.
appointing a newspaper for official publication. This one here was put on after the water bill because we had discussions as to where we would get notified.
I'll make a motion that we only have 8:30 time.
Well, the thing is though that we had, we'll put it in Eagle Pass, we'll put it in this one, we'll put it in that one. It's like, which one of the citizens of Valverde County supposed to look at in order to be the official publication of Valverde
I
County?
will make a motion that the 8:30 Times be the official publication of Valverde County. When do they come out?
On
Weekly?
Wednesdays?
Every week?
Yes.
Wednesday.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, I need a second.
I'll second that.
Second, Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor?
All right.
5-0 vote, discussion possible action on tax note. We didn't get any information on these, but we do have the item 21, which is discussed possible certificate of obligation. We will get with, Olivia Senor. If you'll make sure that we get with him to go to the 20-year and add $1 million to it. Okay. The item 22, approval of resolution for a regional mobility authority.
Judge, I'm still reading through this. I have some issues
You want to table
with
it?
an RMA, so I'd like to table it for now. Motion to table.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Discuss possible action to pay mileage to justice of the peace. This one's a little bit more confusing. I think we'd already set something up, correct me if I'm wrong, to pay their mileage. Is that correct? Yeah, come on up.
Y'all are asking for mileage to go from your house to the office.
If they can't take care of it at work.
Commissioner, the mileage that we're asking for is only after hours and on weekends, and not every after hours and on weekends. It's when we're unable to perform our duties from home.
Okay, but I'm being told y'all don't have everything you need at home to perform your duties.
Well,
What is it we don't have?
Let me tell you what we do have. What we do have at home, we were issued a laptop, which we're real grateful for, okay? But we have to provide our own printers, we have to provide our internet service and materials. There are certain things that we can do in our case, that we have to be able to fax this paperwork within 24 hours. For example, if we get an out-of-county warrant, we have to, and we magistrate that person, we have to go ahead and fax that information to the corresponding agency that wanted that person arrested. So we need a landline in order to fax that. I don't have one at home, and I'm not sure if the other judges do or not.
They can't be emailed, they have to be
No,
faxed.
they can't be emailed, they have to be faxed.
21st century, we can't email.
For security purposes, we cannot email these things.
Not by right now, but hopefully that 1.3 million we just spent might help.
So the deal is, sometimes we have to come to our offices to process that paperwork. Now, when our internets go down at home, we're not IT people, so we can't. We don't have the diagnostics, I guess, capabilities to get it done in time. And magistration has to go on. We got 24 hours, 48 hours to magistrate.
So you want us to pay you mileage to go from your house to your office on the weekends only? Or after
After
hours
hours and
only?
weekends only. Commissioner, let me tell you what I received. I have a check in my wallet for $4. Okay? Which is basically what I was claiming back in December. Now, It would take them 12 months, 14 months of $4 to pay 1 month of my internet service, because you don't provide it for me. So we stepped up to the plate and bought our own stuff.
What do you mean I don't provide, at your house?
I'm sorry?
What do you mean I don't provide you internet? You talking about at home?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because we pay that out of our own pockets.
Yeah, I pay mine too, and I
Yeah,
still operate
yeah.
my county computer on it.
So the deal is that we don't ask for it every time, but when we're able to, I would say 90% of the time, we can do it from home.
How much money are we talking about here?
His one check in December was $4.
Judge, Commissioner, this is gonna be a really low dollar amount. But what I'm afraid you may be opening up is commuting expenses paid, or is it just for elected officials, is it just for JPs, is it for myself, when the county was shut down, we had a payroll out, is it for everybody, or is it just for JPs when they have to back something?
I understand when you have to go to wherever out here in the middle of nowhere to do a magistration or an inquisition, or, I get that, you know, you go to Pandale or Juneau or Funkville, wherever, I understand that costs you money to go do that. But to drive from your house to your office,
To perform our duties.
but that's what you were elected to do.
It is, because you know, for the last 7 years that I've been here, you've been paying that. And you guys have been paying,
And it has only been after hours and on
and
Saturday.
it's only been after hours and on weekends. It's not Monday through Friday that we come to work and perform our duties anyway.
But y'all don't get a car allowance at all.
We don't get a car allowance at all. And in order to perform our duties, it's out of our pockets to do that.
Can you run around all over town, Jenny, doing elections, and you get paid for that? You take your own car?
Yeah, Commissioner, but understand that we're on call 24/7. Every day.
I clearly understand that. What is the salary of a JP?
I'm sorry?
What is the salary of a JP?
About 67,
Oh, no, it's more than that.
69.
I thought it was 80 something.
Hmm?
Thought it was 80 something.
No.
Well, Commissioner, this is a budgeted item which you approved on your budget.
So, no, you have an allowance in your budget, I understand that, and I'm not even sure why we're having this conversation, but, why are we having this conversation if we budgeted money for it? Or what's the issue
is
of being?
commuting costs. Now, there is budgeted whenever they do an inquest or
Yeah.
whatever they do, had to go out to GEO.
So the issue is what can that money be used for?
Correct.
Okay.
Does it now cover going from your house into your office?
Just travel.
It has been.
Okay,
It always has been? You guys have always been putting in for your house to your office
On nights and weekends.
on nights and weekends, but now you want it.
Just on nights and weekends when we have to, when we can't do
But
it.
if it's already done on nights and weekends, then why are we here?
well, because he submitted it, and I think it was rejected.
Okay, was it on a night or weekend?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the problem, is that,
Don't submit anything.
it did not, the process that was going, that has always been done, and the court set up, they were following it, but they got a letter that they would not be paid anymore on nights, that they would not be paid anymore than on nights and weekends. And it's the same process that we'd already set up.
We
Yeah?
attached the-
Okay, Judge, you what? What were you
No, I
saying?
believe it was for commuting costs, is what the interpretation of that was.
So I think there's a hangup here. I guess that at the end of the day, they have money set aside that this court set aside. That's one. And to me, if we've already set aside the money and they're gonna get paid for stuff that they can't do at the house, only on nights and weekends, I don't have time with it, especially since we've already set aside the money. Now, if you start coming back and asking for more money, then we're gonna have a problem. What do y'all think?
Yeah,
Did this letter come in, Mr. Matt, because there was an increase in monies, or why did,
No, the money, Commissioner, there was no increase in funds to their account, to their budgets.
okay.
We'd already set the money aside. They just wanted to make sure that they can get paid some of the monies that we've already set aside that is allotted in their budget.
Okay.
And it's just as necessary, it's not all the time.
It's not all-
Judge, when I personally have a problem magistrating on weekends, is that when I have 11 or so people to magistrate, and there's a ton of papers that we have to print, because we have to bring that to the clerk, and they have to go ahead and scan it into the system.
And this would only be money that you have that we've already set aside. That is in your budget. And it's only set aside for the JPs, not for everybody one of your clerks and everybody else will start coming in and then we open up
But never indeed.
that we're paying for, but only for the JPs.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're gonna pay commuting costs for JPs after hours on weekends for only the JPs.
But it's always been.
Okay, and we'll continue that way with anybody else.
If we'd always set it up like that,
Okay.
I don't understand why now this is an issue. If you say you've always got it,
We've always done.
then why all of a sudden, what changed, I guess, is what changed?
Commissioner, I turned it down.
No, I understand, but why,
Because I saw there was.
but has it been submitted before?
I did not see
Yes.
the hours.
yes.
Okay.
So are we good?
But no,
Okay, we're,
I've got a question, I mean, how do we keep track of these trips? I mean, how many trips I mean,
We submit all that, Commissioner. We
What?
submit the date, the time.
how much money are we talking about, I mean, on those trips, on a weekly basis?
he doesn't know, it might depend, like he said, the check that he did get done December was only $4.
It's a very minimal amount, but, I mean,
$14, $10, $11, $4.
This is just the principle of it.
But that was
Yeah,
only
the
$4
principal.
because it had been denied?
The money has been budgeted, so we will continue with what we're doing, but we will be having this conversation in next year's budget.
Okay. Y'all okay? Matt, we okay?
We're good?
Oh, man, golden. Thank you. Thank y'all. I'll figure out where I'm at. Item 24, discussion of possible action. I just put a lot of stuff on here.
Yeah, you did. What? You weren't expecting a blizzard or what?
I wasn't expecting, discussion of possible action on the Second and National Bridge. The reason I brought this up, the city and county had spent $130,000 apiece, on a study and a feasibility study. We were given just minimal information on that study. The city did go ahead and move forward with the second feasibility study. My concern on this is that the Dam Bridge sits outside the city limits. I don't think that it's to their benefit to jump off of this by themselves. And I think, we need to be included in the conversation, whether we want to be part of it or not. I just think that we need to make it perfectly clear that this thing sits outside of the city limits. And we've already spent $130,000. And the courts before 2011, and then the court that sat in here in 2011 for those 3 or 4 years, finished SL 75. The court before that started at SL 79, not 75. SL 79 went through the process of acquiring property, went through the process on Las Brisas of making sure it's wider, making sure that there was an overpass built over 90 West. Just Commissioner's Court did all this in anticipation of at some point maybe having a second bridge. And to be left out and cut out of the process just because it's just, wow, they almost threw the other word out. It's just not right. It's just not right. We spent so much time, like I say, the court with 2011 and the previous courts, working on these projects. And I'm not saying that we go build a bridge tomorrow or nothing like that. Don't get me wrong. We're not going to step off on whatever that's going to cost tomorrow. But we should be part of the conversation. The city should, or either that, or we make it known that, again, if we're not going to be part of the conversation with the city, then, we try to put a halt to it. I mean, I hate being so blunt, but, we spent a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy, a lot of manpower, and then just to be cut out, it isn't right. I just,
Judge, being part of the conversation, what does that guarantee us in the future? I mean, we want to be part of that, own part of that bridge or own the bridge.
What I think, there's no way that this court, and I'm going to speak for y'all for a little bit, and so correct me if I'm wrong. There's no way that this court would raise the tax rate high enough to cover any payment of what it would cost to build that road. It just can't do it. It'd be unbelievable. So in reality, if the city and county were to partner, what I would say would work is if we would work together, get the permits, get it done, get money from TxDOT, see how much they're gonna help us. And then if we'd have to go borrow money, make sure that the money, that what the bridge makes would cover the payment on the bridge. And at that point, any funds that would be left over, there would have to be a certain percentage of the funds that are left over. It's not gonna be anything for a while. But at that point, you know, those funds need to help the city pay for what they're gonna lose at their first bridge.
This bridge, I mean, it generates millions and millions of dollars per year.
So I don't think the county would be asking to jeopardize the city in any way. But if there's funds left over, it needs to go to the city. At the point that there's funds left over, when we build up to the percentage that they're making their money back, we're making the payment. And then we get to be part of it. Is the county gonna make any money now for 15, 20 years? No. But whoever's gonna be sitting here in 15 or 20 years or whatever, then there's a revenue income for the county. But at the very least, we need to be considered and to be part of the conversation, which we are not right now. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, we need each other in order to make this happen. Again, is it gonna happen tomorrow? No. Are we gonna jump off and go raise tax rate to go, make a payment on the roadway? We'd never be able to. You know, but if there's funds out there, TxDOT money, and you know, y'all acquired land, even that little patch of land to connect the two roads together.
Well, when they built this bridge, wasn't it private investors that built the bridge?
No, actually, the county built it.
The county built it.
The first bridge belonged to the county.
Private investors owned it.
Owned it, right?
Owned it, yeah.
No.
I know that for a fact.
County.
Yeah.
County built it. County built it, county gave it away with my grandfather, sure. Well, gave it away. I just want to be part of the conversation. I'm not saying jump off and let's go build it tomorrow. I'm just saying that at the very least, the city needs to know that the county wants to be part of that conversation.
I agree with you, Judge. We spent county money to do the study, and we need to be in the conversation. You know, we spent right at $100 million to get that loop put into place, and the city didn't once participate in that. And without that loop and that extension of that loop, that bridge wouldn't even be a conversation you could start having. So I agree. I'm not saying I'm gonna support a bridge because I don't know, but we need to at least be part of the conversation and be able to make that decision. I will make a motion to authorize the judge to send a letter to the city requesting that since we have assisted in paying for the study, that we continue being part of this conversation until the county makes a different decision.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Jesus Christ, we've done pretty good till we got the money.
Yeah, if you quit putting stuff on the agenda, we get done with this thing.
Granting authority to the county judge to sign reimbursement request number 2 for county transportation infrastructure funds, Annandale Road Project, 90% reimbursement.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Accepting a donation of chips from Julio's Corn Tortilla Chips, and authorize county to sign a letter of donation for tax purposes for Julio's Chips Works.
Motion.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Warren. Second, who?
Second, Judge.
Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 27, approval leasing of raw land to USDA in the amount of $1,500 each acre per year. Commissioner Flores?
Yes, I've been dealing with, Dr. Howard, USDA, and they want to lease anywhere from 3 to 5 acres. And, right now they're in the process of surveying the amount of land that they want.
And you said that would be their cost?
It's gonna be their cost, everything, upgrading, fencing, leveling,
At your yard is where they're gonna lease?
yeah,
No,
right behind the USDA.
Okay.
So once they get ready to, bring us a contract, I'll bring it to the court.
Okay, so just preliminary, no action needed?
No,
Just
no
for
action.
information?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Item 28, approval, handle ratification of pending bonds for newly elected and re-elected officials. Sandy, do you have a list of names?
Yes, so we submitted it.
Motion to approve.
It says there actually was 3 from the first list I gave you.
Okay.
The
Can
other
you-
ones that were pending were,
Just give us the list of names that we.
David E. Martinez, and Robert O. Nettleton, and Mr. Steve
Berg?
Yes.
Okay. We have a motion. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton? Second?
Second.
Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? 5-0 vote. Item 30. She didn't catch it. Item 29, presentation, discussion, possible action regarding the purchase of Valverde County election equipment. Before we get started, I think, yeah, come on up. What do we got?
Thank you all for allowing me to speak this morning. How many times have you been
Okay, that's
asked?
enough.
He told me he was not gonna let you talk, so be careful.
I'll be brief.
And just for everybody out there, I'm not being mean, we get along. So it's okay.
So how many times have you all been asked, why is Valverde County the last county to report their election information? How many times have you been asked? How many times have you asked that? A lot, right? Well, congratulations, today you get to fix that problem, okay? As you know, I was Republican chair for 3 years, so I got to go through the process of 2 primaries and 2 general elections. And I got to be very intimate with the process and where the hiccups are. Early vote in person, not a problem. Getting your the chip through, no issues. Election day, not a problem. The precinct judges bring the chips in, takes a little while to get stuff from outside precincts, but it gets done. Where's the problem? Early vote ballot by mail. Typically, we have a couple hundred of these, 400, 500, 600. Last primary, I asked you to sit with me and watch as Jamie fed the ballots through this dinosaur called an M650. You lasted about 10 minutes and you go, this is painful. And you know, that's a lot.
That wasn't what I used, that's clean.
Okay, so the process, they run these things through, we have about 10 would go through, jam. Lower the platform, remove the jam, raise the platform, run it through, another 10, jam. And that went on all night. And that was with 400 to 600 ballots that we had to process. That was March of last year. November last year, what happened? Pandemic. Early vote by mail, almost 2,000. We don't have the equipment to process that many ballots. Okay? I was there till midnight. I left bleary-eyed. Time out. I give up. I'm out of here. So what's going to happen primary 2022? We're roughly 12 months away. COVID's not going away. Democrats are saying they want increased ballot access. And that's probably going to happen. So the permissible excuses to get a ballot by mail is liable to go up. And some Democrat politicians want universal ballot by mail. Anybody can ask for a ballot by mail.
So, these machines, Fernando, in all reality, I mean, you've looked at them and you believe this is the way to go?
I do. And I will tell you, in my experience talking with other county chairs, we're the only ones that still have paper ballots. I was talking with a chair from Upton, and I said, I have to go put my ballot request order in. And she laughed at me. She goes, you're kidding. I said, no. She goes, you still have ballot by mail? I said, yeah, and I have to go to every precinct and guess how many voters we're going to have, and then add 25%. And she says, what we do is you get a slip, you get qualified, you get a slip, you put it in the machine, you got the screen, you pick your people, you hit print, it prints the ballot, you take it over, you stick it in the reader.
And that's what this one does?
It can.
Same. Okay. So you're good, you're good for this?
I am 100% in favor of this. So, in 2022, 12 months away, 3 of you are on the ballot. Do you all want to wait 3 days to find out who won? Because if we have...
As long as I win.
If we have universal ballot by mail, that 2,000 mail-in ballots could be 4, could be 6,000. You don't know. The thing
Now,
is-
come on, 6,000 people in this town don't vote.
Well, it's gonna be a whole lot easier for them to vote if they can vote by mail.
So you're good?
I am 100% in favor of this.
And you've looked at this
We
particular,
discussed this, and yes, I mean, we're way far behind everyone else, so I would ask you to please solve this problem today.
All right.
Thank you.
Cheney,
Yes, sir.
you're up.
Yes, and if the court, in, I believe it was January, asked that I explore the possibility of the cost of upgrading either what we have or replacing what we have. And, Chris, you wanna step up? This is Chris Moody, he's with ES&S, so of course I went to our vendor and asked him to provide an analysis and a cost, which is also on your packet.
And just to cut to it, you wanna come on up so we can hear you? Cost, and then we're from the
There
money.
are two options on there. You want to discuss the first option and the second option for them so that they know exactly?
Yes, ma'am. So there's two proposals. One would be to operate similar to what you're doing today, which would be all hand-marked paper ballots. And then you have a machine that's for the ADA accessibility group. It's a lower price, but you only have to have one of the touchscreen units in a pole to accommodate an accessibility voter.
So if we stay with paper, what's the cost?
The paper for a hand-marked ballot is about 32 cents each.
No, I'm saying for the machine. We're doing machine?
The proposal, the option.
433?
I think it's, I don't have it in front of me, it's about $220,000
Yeah,
for
that's
that
option two.
proposal.
Option two. Option one
Okay.
is more because we would be replacing.
Let me
all
start
the
with,
equipment.
okay, so option two is if you had one of each machine in a polling location. One for your accessibility group, a handicap group, a blind voter to vote on, and then the precinct scanner, which is the large black box over there. That's to deposit a hand-marked ballot in, okay? Option one on there is a higher price in the $400-something thousand range. That option allows you to either stay as you are now, where you have precinct-based voting, or you can move to countywide voting. And every voter is voting on that machine over there, the touchscreen, that gentleman over here said that you make your selections on a screen.
400 and some odd thousand just to pull ourselves all the way up.
There is an additional 10,000 that we would want to
Yeah,
add.
but heck, after I spent 400 and some odd thousand.
So the, mailing.
That's correct.
We can figure the mail on this.
But both options are 100% paper.
Okay, so-
What option one is allowing every
You're
voter to
fixing to
make.
say they're already paid for,
I'm sorry.
you were gonna say already paid for.
Both options are all paper.
Paper, I thought it's already paid for.
Okay, so one of the options is I walk in and they hand me a paper ballot, I fill it out and stick it in a machine.
Yeah, you hand
The
mark.
second option is I have a screen and I push and it prints out a ballot and I stick it in the machine.
That's correct. So option two in there, the lesser price for your hand marking ballots, a lot of counties are moving away from that because of voter mistakes. So if a voter overvotes an office or changes their mind and doesn't completely erase the first option they picked, that machine, the precinct scanner will kick it out as an overvote. Well, a lot of people won't go spoil their ballot and ask for a new ballot, they'll just accept it. Well, whatever office that is, they overvoted and both candidates lost their
No,
ballot.
I clearly understand. My concern is this, and I agree we need to go to the electronic, but my concern is this, is we have a lot of elderly people in this community that are scared to death of the machine. Completely and utterly scared to death of it. And we have a lot of other people that are perfectly fine. And what I'm trying to figure out is what fits for the voters of this community. I was on this court when we bought the original one, and we went with that system because of a lot of elderly voting that were not comfortable with electronic machines, so they would actually have a paper ballot to go down and do what they do. I understand the savings. If we have the other one, we're not buying ballots that we don't use.
Correct.
And so I get both. I'm just trying to figure out what works best for me.
So one thing I've had a lot of counties do that had the exact same concern you do is a lot of, they bought the system as it's presented in option two, where you just have one machine in each polling location. But for early voting, they use every single one of the touchscreens. So if you're a voter and you go vote early, you have to vote on that touchscreen. But on election day, you get the option of hand marking a ballot. And then you're able to actually get an idea from your voting public if they like that way. and then you can make the additional investment for election day machines as well. So I've had a lot of counties do that.
So you can't, the touchscreen one, you can't do paper ballots on that one and start training people to move into that.
Yes, it's not hand-marked paper ballots, do you want me to?
And I haven't seen it, so I don't know how difficult it is.
Let me do a quick demonstration.
That would be
And
phenomenal.
it's 433,000, how many machines is that, or?
75, that's for 75 of these.
Yeah, but that's not, but the whole setup was the option one, it was the 433.
That's right.
Okay, but the whole
And it was
setup,
24, right? 24 machines?
Yes, for option 2.
Yeah, because see, we currently have 24 of each machine, but it takes 3 machines to be set up in one polling place.
you're gonna need more of these handhelds, everybody's gonna use the same.
Yeah, in option 1, we have 75 of these in there. So in some polling locations, you may put one in each one of those booths.
So bottom line is, there's 400 and some odd thousand would be the most expensive way to go.
Yes,
That doesn't include replacing the 650.
It does.
Yes,
500 does include
yes,
replacing.
it's part of the package.
So,
And it does include, Judge, you had asked specifically about what do we do with what our old equipment is? And how much was the credit, Chris, 50? I think in your option 1, there's a credit of 50,000. Chris is saying they're buying it back from us.
So the 400 and some odd thousand dollars would go with.
Strictly for the machines.
That they can push. I would pay for it.
Good, that's,
Well, no, because you asked the question about a tax note, this and that, and you said
Yes.
it might be grants or whatever, so my
Uh-huh.
question is right now, do we have?
I don't know, have you heard anything from the Secretary of State if there's any money coming down the pipe or not?
I haven't heard anything.
I know
I
they,
haven't heard anything at federal level either. We have lobbyists at the federal level, and we haven't heard of any.
And again, if we're gonna do this, we're in the process of doing some tax notes and everything like that. So if we were gonna throw any dollars in, this would be the time to
do
look
it.
at it versus trying to come back and start adding more stuff, and I've got it, it just doesn't make sense.
the total number you need, that includes replacing these, 650s, everything. And 400 and something thousand.
450 total, because I'm adding a $10,000 cost for the mail ballot.
Whole thing, we're not gonna come back in a month and say.
Chris is gonna make it work for 450.
This is the express vote. We call it a hybrid voting system, because the voters will make their selection like a touchscreen, like they're voting electronically, but votes are not stored on those. This is just a marking, we call it a marking device. We're using thermal stock. This is 12 cents per ballot versus 32 cents per ballot or a pre-marked ballot. The benefit is whatever you're going to use in one election here, you can use in the next election. Plus, you're going to save about 20 cents per voter for everybody that votes on those. So over time, you start making a little bit of your investment back and not having those pre-printed ballots. These ballots that don't get used in an election, it's wasted money.
Well, you have to destroy them. Yes.
So,
And I can tell you, for the November general election, we spent $45,000 in ballots.
so voting this, we're going to select our language. And by the way,
That's what you just did, does the voter have to do it?
no, this is set up in a demonstration vote. When a voter comes into the polling, or when they're coming here, they're gonna, this is the first screen, they're gonna
They
say,
don't have to pick the precinct?
that's gonna be done at the and the second.
24 years with buying machines. Every 24 years with buying machines.
So they're gonna go through and make their selections, like electronic voting system.
We won't need it. We won't need it for.
Once they get to the review screen, they can review all their votes, they can jump back to an office and make a change
We'll need it.
if they wanted to.
We'll need it legit.
Once they finish their ballot, they can print the cards. And when the card's done printing, it prints all their selections on here, for them to be able to review, their selections. If they've made a selection on here that they want to change, they would go back through, the full ballot process at a ballot. If they're happy with all their selections, they would drop it into the specific.
That's like the one we already did.
It's very simple. It's almost exactly like the one you had. It's taking a digital picture of the ballots now instead of reading with infrared lights. Also, For the forwarder's benefit, you have now, once it fills up, at the end of the night, when they open that door and all the pallets comes filling up,
That's 20
there's
years
a
ago.
button here.
That took 20 to see level. But I can pay for it. What do you want?
Box is catching all the pallets, got wheels on one end and a luggage on the other end.
I just need to figure out exactly what it costs.
Hands on the pallets, and they're, bringing time to being off at the end of the night. Both machines have lithium-ion batteries, so you get about 4 to 5 hours of operation time. That's really powerful. Definitely wouldn't be enough to keep your last week, but.
It's the 433, 3 something?
What's that?
I would do for 43, because I'm not, he didn't know to include the print on
I
demand
guess-
or the mail.
We don't need to make a decision right now. Okay. So, commissioners, we'll put
I
this
just
back.
wanted to make sure he was here because you all had a lot of
No, no.
questions. Now, are you, pointing out what the credit is gonna be on both options or?
I just need to know what dollar amount. What, you're saying 443 after you give me credit and
Well, there's a lot of options here that add more stuff, so I'm not real sure what.
I said 450.
450?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 450, and that'll take care of everything that you need to get done. And Commissioner Nettleton just said there's more options, but you're comfortable with 450 and we're not gonna get hit another $20,000-$30,000. We're going,
That's correct.
we'll have to negotiate.
That's correct.
You're gonna have to sue us, we're gonna have to sue you.
I wanna point something out to the court.
You're
This
gonna
would-
cost us more money.
This would be the first step in the process
I don't like that.
for doing countywide voting. Because once we move ahead to get it, then I would apply to the Secretary of State to do countywide voting. They insist you do it on one election so that they can see how you do it. And after that, then they will okay you.
And basically what that means is I can show up to any polling place in the county and still
On
vote.
election day, it's basically an extension of early voting.
Which
for election
is a
day.
good thing, because there's a lot of people that show up to their own polling place and they can't vote, and it doesn't make any sense why we.
And this way they will.
With the county, this.
What about your, like, when you have to go out to the curbside voting, are you gonna be able to take, do they have a handheld device, or how does that work?
Yeah, our counties that use this, which there's, the packet I gave you says 98 counties that are using that, but it's up to 102 this week. They're taking that out to the curb.
So you take that whole box to the curb?
It unplugs and you carry it out there, it's 19 pounds.
No, I've seen some on a little stand.
Yeah, you can roll them out on a stand if you'd like to. Most of them are carrying it out, but Travis County, some of the larger counties I know have bought like those little pool carts that they're setting them on and just rolling them out.
Now, does this include any necessary training they need and
Yes.
everybody needs, and then
Training, support.
are we going to, I mean, me and you, Jenny's had this conversation 100 times about upgrading and going to a system like this, but I think we need to set up things at like Walmart and HEB so people can learn how to use these systems. Don't use them on election day, is do a demonstration so that people understand how they work.
If you've
And I
got,
understand there's a cost associated with that, but when you move to this, and you know the voting population that we have and the elderly, they're gonna be scared to death of this machine.
yeah, we have, a lot of counties that, this is really the best window of opportunity to buy up or replace the voting system because you're in between the presidential election and the gubernatorial election. In between now and the constitutional amendment, there's really not a lot going on in between. So we have a lot of counties that will use that time frame to set up stuff in libraries.
How long will it take to get this?
We could have.
If we decide to buy it, how long would it take us to get it?
Shipped and installed 45 days.
Okay, all right, so it's not something that's 6 or 8 months or a year from now.
No, that's the easy part.
Okay.
The hard part is, like you said, organizing community events where you're doing outreach programs to the community to show them.
That will need to start this year then, latter part of this year.
That's what you just said.
I want
Yeah.
to, Janie, if you'll come back and get us a dollar amount for sure of everything
Yes,
that you
we'll
need.
make sure everything is in there.
Okay. And, would the court be okay going with the little white machine versus the paper machine? Is that okay with that? Bring us a quote on that one.
I sure will.
Okay, just make sure that we don't have any 10, 15 or nothing like that
Yeah,
pop up.
extras.
All right.
And then-
We'll put the whole proposal together.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, Rose, do you want to say anything? She's been sitting.
Well, I've been looking at her, but she didn't.
No, I'm listening.
Okay.
So, I did want to speak a little bit about the central scanner for counting absentee ballots. The 650, I'm sure, Janie can contest that, that machine runs the ballots really well when they're not folded. So when you get your test back and you run them through there. it
But
runs
your
pretty well.
system, the system that we're looking at would do away with that.
Yeah, the DS 450, which is in the quote, which will scan your mail absentee.
Even if they're
ballots.
folded?
Yes.
So they're all gonna be folded.
So the 650 pushes that ballot through.
Yeah.
The problem is when it's got folds, it catches on stuff in there and it crinkles up like an accordion.
So this one pulls it
The
instead of.
450 is pulling it, but there's 24 rollers that go all the way around it. So when the head of one roller hits the ballot, it starts pulling it. When the roller that's at the tail of the ballot senses it's at the
You've
tail, it starts
already
flowing
pretty
backwards.
much, just,
So it
just,
spreads it.
I'm not trying to be mean. We just need a price.
You got it.
Okay, we're comfortable with the equipment. Janie,
Yes, sir.
Fernando?
I'm good. We'll get together with.
Y'all are comfortable with the
before you-
equipment?
Yeah.
We need a price. For the dollar amount, I think we could probably match, if worst case scenario, not add it to a tax, don't have to pay on this, and we could probably find some funds in order to pay for it if the court decides to move forward. Would that be a good statement?
That is a factual statement, but it is a piece of equipment, so.
Okay. Okay.
What is the life expectancy since he just said equipment?
Well, I mean, you had your system.
Am I gonna be here
about
5 years and, yeah, no, I mean,
We're
what we have
expecting
is,
people to use this for another 15 years.
yeah, but the system we had set in the garage for 5 of those 10 years before we ever started using it.
Yeah.
I just don't wanna keep adding to this damn tax note and
Yeah.
we end up with $12 million.
Yeah.
over there, especially if we can find funds from the other funds that we have. We know that we're not gonna use some.
We have that Odyssey money, or we have that
We have funds. We will have funds, it looks like, out of some of the other funds that we got, like insurance, stuff like that. We should be able to, in order to have to add money to the tax note, or certificate of obligation. Are y'all okay with him bringing us back a price?
Yeah.
Leaving our tax note and certificate of obligation that it's at?
Yeah.
That work?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for taking the time. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No worries.
I want to get Facebook posted, I'm mean to you.
I appreciate the shortness.
No problem.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for all the work that both of y'all do and everything. Appreciate it. See how nice?
I'll look for you.
We got that on tape.
I'm not the chairman, so I can get my turn.
I'm gonna hold you.
So you're voting Democrat this year, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna make you sign an affidavit.
I had, one of the ladies from the Republican, one of the elderly ladies says, you just need to come over to the light. Number 30, Suzanne, you there? Request approval for second assistant district attorney Jessica Sawyer Valino to be moved to the position of first assistant attorney at a salary of $87,417.75. Before we do anything on this, the base salary on this is not the $87,000. It is the $82,000 and change. Is that correct, Matt?
That's correct.
So she's.
So this is not a base. You're
Yeah,
asking
that's
us
not
to
the base.
raise the base?
Yeah. Well, we'd have to. She's gonna do another supplement of the 8,000, which she has, what she's asking for, bottom line is to bring them in at the 87,417 instead of the 82,000 that is the base pay. And we had adjusted both base pays last year, both county attorney and district attorney.
What was the county paying for the last person?
Well, I think they're 80 something, 86.2, maybe.
Last pair was 90.
90.
No, does that include this? I'm talking to the county's portion, not the total salary.
90.
We were paying 90?
You were, but it's because there was somebody who was paying her for a while.
No, I
That wasn't
understand,
base.
but what I'm saying is we were paying 90 and then they were giving a supplement on top of that.
18.
18 on top of that, so it'd make 108.
So, yeah.
But our base pay is 82,000 and change. And that base pay was adjusted last year. When we started this year, this fiscal year, it had been adjusted to the 82,000.
What is the
And I
supplement?
agree, I agree. Suzanne, do you want to say something before I continue? You want to?
Thank you, I appreciate it. I just wanted to thank the commissioners for the opportunity to discuss the issue. From my perspective, especially with this particular employee, she has worked at the county before, both in this office and in a separate office. And so that's the tricky part with the bases. I think it's really great that the county's setting up those ranges for the bases to make it consistent across the board. But what's tricky is this particular employee has been employed for quite a few years in the different offices. I do know there's been other employees that have been hired in. I want to say one of the judges' staff maybe. And I think when this particular employee was hired at the county attorney last time, she came in at what the pay was already budgeted at. So that's what I was hoping to shoot for. I'm not intending to adjust the base. And if somebody came in brand new and they were a brand new employee, then I would think that the base would be appropriate. But for this employee that's worked both in this office and in a separate county office before, I don't know that the base is necessarily fairly applied. You guys, I just need
Okay, I'll make a motion to allow the 87.4, but not to adjust the base for this position.
I have a
for this
motion,
one.
Commissioner Middleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
Aye.
Four, I vote no. I think the base, as part of our budget needs to be, that's the reason it was set. But it's a 4-1 vote, it passes. Item 31, authorization to replace flooring on third floor of the district courthouse on Broadway Street at a cost of $19,318.46. By Sherwin-Williams.
Didn't we just replace this?
No, we did not replace it. They got bids, and it never was done.
And we changed the specification, so we had to go out. Carlos came in and we did measure.
And we didn't budget for it this year?
Not for this fiscal year, no.
And it has to be replaced this fiscal year?
It's nasty.
Yeah, is carpet or hardwood or what?
Well, they're gonna go back with hardwood flooring or planks or whatever.
Yeah,
But it's nasty. And they've done we'd already done the second floor, third floor, what's left. I think there's like $9,000, if I'm not mistaken.
It wasn't because of the hail damage that it ruined the floor?
Well, I can tell you that before all this is over, that hail damage is gonna pay for a lot. Yeah.
It happened, you know.
There's, Broadway has like 9,000 in it.
Yes.
So you need 10
For
more.
Broadway repairs out of building maintenance.
So there's 9,000 in Broadway, and then you need the difference in order to pay for it. It needs to get done, it's just nasty. So we take it out of contingency, and then what we can do is come back, and at some point, we have some money that we can probably certify and bring back into contingency if we haven't. Does that work?
Motion to authorize the replacement of the floor, take the 9,000 out of Broadway and the remainder out of contingency.
Have a motion, Commissioner Middleton, second who? Second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 32, a vehicle donation of a 2001 Ford Taurus from adult probation, and who's it donating to?
To the county, to us.
Okay,
They
motion
would
to
donate to
approve.
the county. They-
Motion to approve, Commissioner Flores?
Just, it's not running, is what they said. But take a look.
Okay. And then we can do whatever we want to with it once we get it. Yeah, okay. I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Wardlaw, all those in favor? Aye, 5-0 vote. Item 33, approval to rent an excavator for precinct 1 to complete Texas CDBG 7218075 waterline project and authorization for county judge to sign. Small purchase procurement records A 504. Martin, make a motion?
Motion.
A motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. This money is being paid out of the grant, just so people know. 5-0 vote. Item 34, approval to purchase survey equipment for risk management at a cost of $29,868.86 from Altera under government co-op contract, DIR, CPO, 4504, available funds, with 28,000 that we already set up. So he's a little short, I think, $1,868.86. Where we don't want to take the funds out of, he was able to get on TechStop right? And use their satellite or whatever, which saved us, probably what, $2,500, How much?
$2,000.
2,000. So we need a year. So we need $1,868. Any motion?
I'll make a motion to approve this and get the money pending from contingency.
All right, a motion, Commissioner Flores, second.
Second.
Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye, 5-0 vote. Item 35, authorize county judge to sign agreement to request the use of Texas Department of Transportation real-time
Kinematics.
survey,
Kinematics.
That'll work. Survey network.
This is what you need to be able to use the survey. Motion to approve.
Got a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye, 5-0 vote. Write something down for us to do. Okay. Edgar just sent a text that he thought the money was set aside in the last budget. It was set aside in the last budget, but we never did move it over. So for the floor. Item 36. You know what? Bobby here. I'm gonna move you up, if you want. No, I'm sorry, I just hadn't been paying attention, but I'm gonna move you up that way in case you need to go. Item 44, discussion possible action, change event dates for the George Paul Memorial Bull Riding from May 24th, 22nd.
Move.
Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? 5-0 vote. Bobby, I'm sorry.
No, I'm glad.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, have a good day. Item 36, authorize county judge to sign SAL State Equities Landmark Permit Application for historical building and structures for roof repairs on Alice Fitzpatrick Building, District Attorney Building, County Attorney Building, and been submitted to the Texas Historical Commission.
Motion.
Martin? Have a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw. Second?
Second.
Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0 vote. Item 37,
We already did that.
You wanna do it again? Item 38, discussion and possible action on the update on Frontera Road project. What I've asked is for the next couple items to be put on the agendas from now on, that way we have an idea what's going on. Okay.
The 38. 38, sorry. That one. Good morning again.
Morning.
The notice to proceed was issued on January 11, 2021. We started working on Frontera Road from Alderete to Las Vacas. This is a 2,000 linear foot section. Prior to that, TxDOT approved the alternate facing on the project. So we commenced the groundbreaking on the project the week after January 11th. The contractor, on the first week, the contractor installed traffic control signs, traffic control operation, and they had an office set up close to Cienegas Road, and they also set up a yard.
I'm sorry. He keeps looking at me because he knows I'm gonna say something random. Usually when Steven's here, we don't have as much problem with that. I'm sorry, man. I'm just playing. Go ahead, I'm sorry, Tyler. Sorry about that. But he kept looking at me, he knew I was gonna say something.
On the following week, the contractor performed asphalt milling, roadway excavation, and soil stabilization from Station 12350 to Station 14350, and then two culvert systems. There are two total 18-inch reinforced concrete pipes were installed on Station 126 and 131. On the following week, on January 22nd, we did the subway stabilization using 6% of cement on the subway. The thickness of that was variable due to the water lines that they were really shallow. And the thickness on the stabilization of the subway was from 8 to 12 inches. And by January 22nd, it's already done. We did some compaction tests from the Geotech Lab company using a nuclear gauge. After 48 hours, that was the subgrade the curing time. The contractor started hauling the base for the whole section, and it was laid out in two 5-inch layers, which was compacted at 98% proctor. We did some compaction tests also on down. So the whole 2,000 linear feet section, we have it on base already. And after that, the contractor started working on the intersection of Las Vacas and Frontera Road. We milled the asphalt, we did the road excavations, and right now we have it on base, on two layers of base also. The next step is to perform night work on one of the culvert systems that is located on Station 120, which is here. The reason of the night work is because what we have right now is a monolithic concrete structure. So if we do the two phases, how it was on the plan, if we start taking away the culvert, it will.
The plan on that was, it's all one piece. So they were gonna break it out. They were trying to figure out whether to break it out one night and then replace it, and then there was gonna be some concrete flowable material is what they're calling it. Basically concrete put on the sides. The conversation we had was that, they could go back with dirt, pack it and this and that. I think the conversation was, we just didn't feel real comfortable doing that, because we had that issue on SL 79, right at the end of the bridge. You still had a dip and a hump. So what they were gonna do is break it out one night, install the culverts, put plates back, and then the discussion was that the next time they removed the plates, they would pour concrete and then replate it, let the concrete dry, and then start again. So that's what's gonna happen there. Other discussion that we've been having is that they're done they've already done the sub base, already done the base. When they go to do the chip seal, the discussion was, we do the chip seal, we leave the chip seal, or do we do the chip seal and do 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 of compacted asphalt, and then come back and do another 1 3/4 of compacted asphalt. Again, that discussion was, do not leave the chip seal. You gotta do something on top of it, because if not, by the time you get all the way down, whatever you put over here on chip seal, it's gonna be hard.
Yep.
And it'll take a chance on ruining the sub base. So I think they were gonna do the chip seal, and correct me, if I'm wrong.
The chip seal and half.
1 3/4, do half of the asphalt.
Hot mix or cold mix?
It's hot mix.
And then they would come back once they get all the way down, then they come back and do that other 1 3/4 and just start at one end and go all the way down the other end, and you've got a new road, versus.
And by doing so, we'll try to avoid the transversal construction joint, so we will not have that issue.
And, I
Are
think
they
there might be
fixing
a
that
cost.
curve at Los Vacas? They're not fixing that, are they?
The curve on
The
the
curve.
Vacas, they've got, it goes up into it, yeah. a little
It
bit.
was about 100 feet in there. So it's not gonna come straight across and then re-tee it? But we're repaving Las Vacas right as soon as they're done with that. I was just wondering if they were getting the curve out of there and lining that road back up.
No,
and doing
no,
it.
no, it stays the same. But there might be a cost, and that still remains to be seen, of the oil, and to put the oil between the both layers of asphalt.
Which would be an additional
Cost.
wasn't in the
It wasn't that
original
much.
It was like close to 50,000.
unless oil goes up again or something.
Well, but so far, we're not running into anything, and the stuff that they've sort of busted and ran into, it's not cost us a dime. So all this, we did break a water line. City went out and fixed it. So, I mean, like I say, that first section right there has been some issues, but it was nothing that cost us money. Right? Okay.
That's correct.
Anybody have any questions on that one? From Tito? Okay, we'll move on to item 39, discussion possible action on update on Valverde County Fairgrounds Master Plan. Is there anything on that one other than we're getting prices, Yeah.
Yeah, the discussion on the structure on the equipment building, that we have the piping. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, okay. There's a building down there that we were leaving, the building down there, next to 15th Street, the metal building. The thing has pipe up on top, and if we go to take, we wanted to coat the roof with something and not have to pull that tin down because it's barely being done. If we do that, they will not cover that building. So we have to remove the tin, and the cost of that tin was in the proposal that we gave you. The other deal was that, it's got 3 inch pipe, 4 inch pipe, up there. My deal to him was, I think it'd be better to remove the pipe and put 6 inch purlin, which I think the way it looks, we'll have enough money with what we brought to y'all to do it. And in case y'all see people up there cutting, when we go to do it, cutting the pipe off, it's just gonna be a nightmare trying to screw into it. It's just gonna be rough.
So it's got pipe cross members at the
Yeah,
tin.
up on top where you put the purlin, they use pipe, all of that, and, you know, we got up there and tried to screw some of the bolts that we have now into it. It's a nightmare. We never get done. So they're gonna remove the pipe. We will have, 3 inch, 4 inch pipe, whatever that is. A bunch of it. It gets 140 foot long or something, right? And, they're like every 4 feet or 3.5 feet, across that building. The building's 70 some odd foot wide. So we're gonna have a lot of that pipe left over, and we'll run 6 inch purlin, not 4 inch purlin, 20 foot long across that. So that has changed since the last time. The building has been moved, and I think we're waiting on AEP to tell us where we need to build a pad or whatever for the electrical, to do the transformer. What else we got?
And no, that's it.
That's it? What I've asked him is probably when he gets all this equipment, gets all this in, maybe lay some of those fields out, just so at whatever point the court wants to go out there, just to get an actual visual as to where this stuff's gonna go before anything, gets built or removed or whatever. What else you got? You're good? Okay. Any questions? No, we're good. Item 40, accept Texas Military Preparedness Commission, TEEAG, award to Valverde County in the amount of $2,465,447.93. To update airfield lighting, Laughlin Air Force Base, and grant authority to county judge to sign. Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Authorizing county judge to sign a letter to offer to gift Laughlin in the amount not to exceed $2,465,447.93, project to be completed by Valverde County for the renovation of Laughlin Air Force Base Airfield and vault and infrastructure.
Motion signed.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Nettleton, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 42, accept Texas Military Preparedness Commission award to Valverde County in the amount of $1,576,433.16 to build additional aircraft sunshades at Laughlin Air Force Base and granting authority for county judge to sign that letter.
Move.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 43, authorizing county judge to sign the letter to offer and to give Laughlin in the amount not to exceed $1,576,433.16. Project to be completed by Valverde County for the construction of T-1 aircraft sunshades at Laughlin Air Force.
Motion to approve.
A motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Nettleton, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0 vote.
Good, we'll get on this. Did we ever, or where we at on the DOJ money to upgrade to do the renewal of the J. Luce and Acus?
We've had 2 meetings, on Zoom, and we will have more meetings. I mean, we've had 2 meetings, I don't know, the city and you, Carlos, and then the state, and then a bunch of people from the state.
Okay.
So we'll continue to have meetings.
Okay, so we'll,
I'll get you an update.
do we need, because we need to
Right
apply
now,
for the
right now,
funding.
we don't have a dollar amount right now, and I'll bring that to you. I will tell you though that we've had meetings and, Janice at the city is part of this. And Shanna Lee and Blanca Larson, and then Joe. I will tell you that these two items right here, Shanna Lee and Blanca and Carlos and Janice, and Marco.
Marco and Francis from the base.
Yeah, they put in just a heck of a lot of work. This is impressive. And this is pretty much the same team that's working on the jailers. Okay. Item 44. Thank you, sir. We've already done approving the lease agreement between Valverde County and Daryl Cadena for Copa de la Amistad.
Move.
A motion, Commissioner Nelson, second. Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye, 5-0 votes. Item 46 is Lion Corn accepting the Texas Reach Grant from Texas State Library and Archives Commission for up to $6,040.
Move.
Second. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye, 5-0 vote. Item 47, requesting approval from Commissioners Court to accept the donation of up to 15 CRP anytime kits from American Heart Association.
Move.
Second. And a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
Aye.
Item 48, determine payment for purchase order 66598 to Texas Burner and Boiler Service in the amount of $30,500 and to be taken out of an account to be determined by Commissioners Court. GO in their contract does have $30,000 that they, or $10,000 that they paid to this damage. It was the boiler for the whole part of the jail.
I thought we did that at the last meeting, authorized the expenditure.
No. No, we've been talking about it last meeting.
Okay. Motion to approve and take out a contingency.
Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores.
But y'all got it in, right?
No, it's in, it's right there. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. 2020 racial profiling report for official presentation. You need to accept.
Move.
Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. 5-0 vote. Item 50, authorizing the county judge and sheriff to sign the public safety office CEO law enforcement certification and assurance form from Office of the Governor.
Move.
Second. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 51, authorizing Sheriff Joe Frank Martinez to purchase 12 Power Heart G5 AEDs in the amount of $18,120 to be taken out of an account to be determined by Commissioners Court.
Motion to approve and take out a contingency.
Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. 5-0 vote, man. Again, the next meeting probably, when you look at all these, taken out. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Item 52, we're gonna not do that one. Item 53, approving human resource report from February 3rd, 2021 through February 17th, 2021. Juanita?
Yes, sir, everything's in order.
Commissioner Flores?
Are we tabling 52 or what?
Yes, sir, we're not gonna do that. We don't have the flag, don't have nothing.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. Any questions on item 53? I need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. 5-0 vote. I'm moving quick. There was, item 58, and, let's do this. Let's go to COVID. Let's go to item 15. There was the court last week approved, not last week, the week before. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I guess. We approved, a program for, in order to do appointments and do everything else. Once they got the program, did not work to their liking at all. So what they're asking right now, and I think given we canceled that contract,
Yes, it was a month-to-month, contract anyway.
they canceled the contract. What they're asking right now is to go with, another program. And that one will be the program that y'all approved was that we'd have to enter the names, then we'd have to do the appointments, and then we'd have to do enough IMOC, send it in. This program that they're asking for right now, it's more expensive, but bottom line is, it'll do once you enter the person's name, it will give them an appointment date. It will, once you do the shot, you basically push another enter, and it sends it straight to the state, so you're not duplicating anything to get that done. It is a cost. The other one was $800 some odd a month. This one's right at $3,000 a month. I have talked to the city. They've not brought it up before court, or before council, but, they're gonna bring it up to see if they're gonna pay for half of this. But it is a $3,000 a month thing, and we had already set aside some money for people, which we won't have to have as many people because this program will help.
I'll make a motion to authorize the expenditure and out of the COVID accounts, and if the city reimburses us.
Okay, second. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. I will tell you on this, these are all messed up. Friday, a week ago Friday, the hospital had received a report. We were not told until Monday of last week that the hospital had received, that they would get an allotment of 1,900 vaccines from Pfizer that would handle the second dose of what we've done 3 or 4 weeks ago. Bottom line is, we sent a text on the Saturday before last, there was no information. Then on Friday, we get an email that the week before there was. But either way, we will get 1,900 in order to be able to hand out the second dose. They're supposed to have a meeting today or tomorrow to figure out how to hand them out on Saturday. Everybody that got the first dose to hand it out at hand out the second doses. And, I think it's really ambitious, but, I guess if they have the faith, we'll ride with it. They also got 500 of the Moderna. That also, and so we will try to do, and this is still up in the air, folks, but we will try to do all second doses plus the 500 first doses on Saturday of this coming week. That is the plan. We're trying to figure it out right now, how to get that done. That way we don't have 2 different days and just have people keep coming in. But the way it stands right now, that is the plan.
Judge, going on Moderna, is that a one-time vaccine?
No, the Johnson & Johnson is the one-time vaccine. The Moderna is 2. But what has changed now is that we would have to ask for the second dose, which now we don't have to go through that process and keep asking for it. It's still up to the state when the heck we're going to get it. But we won't have to ask for it anymore and do that paperwork. If you got the first dose, you're already in line to get the second dose. So that's going to help. And I think in reading emails this morning, there's a couple other vaccines that are coming out already that they're going to release, I think, in the next couple of weeks, which that'll help also. But we are shooting for this Saturday to go ahead and do the second dose for individuals plus the 500 first dose. This program will help. It'll just help. It'll be unbelievable.
Will they be able to have it up and running by Saturday?
That's what they're trying. We were trying to get all the paperwork done. I actually sent the contract to David to review, I think, on Friday, and I think we're okay with it after some changes or whatever. So we were just pending y'all's approval. Okay? Had a motion. Did we take the vote?
No, sir.
Okay. We had a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
All right.
5-0 vote. Okay. We're waiting for somebody to show up. Y'all don't mind, let's take a little break before we do item 68 and then go into executive session or whatever.
He's actually over his distribution with the New York Times right now, where he's at.
The New York Times?
I'm always in the way. I'm always in the way.
And nobody, you ain't gonna get no argument.
I didn't say a word.
Yeah, she's the one that said it, I just agree. You say when? When? Okay. See my hands here. Court will come back into session. We'll take a little break. We're gonna go to item 58. Discussing possible action on the unexpected winter storm that began. I'm not pointing fingers, so.
That was Martin's fault.
Friday evening. I wonder if it was so blurry, I didn't have my glasses on. Friday evening, February 14th.
They were showing us
I
love.
don't even know where to start on this one. I will tell you that, for one, I don't want to get emotional here, but, the commissioners and, the people that I dealt with the most, here at the county were the court commissioners, and, Edgar at the fairground, and, I don't know what we'd have done without Rogan. I mean, I'm glad he decided when I won, I'm glad he decided to stay. I just don't know what the hell I'd have done without him. But the court, the support that I had from y'all, it was, we were all in it together. Again, Edgar, I spent a lot of time with him. We had nights, a couple of nights that, how we were delivering, I'm gonna go ahead and just cuss if I want to. If they get mad, they get mad. But hell, we were up a couple of nights till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, trying to deliver generators. And, one of the homes we went to, we unhooked. I think there was about 4 plugs that needed to be plugged in, so we had to go get a bigger generator and a person on oxygen and for the bed. And, I don't know, like something to do with feeding and something else. There was 4 plugs, which, you look around, it was rough. And I know that all of us have stories. I know that all of us were out helping, by water, food, moving water, moving generators, handing out water at the duck pond, handing out food, again, going to go get food or going to go get water at the school district that the school district had pallets of, and then, they called and, an hour later we were picking it up, and I say, the court, members of the court were picking it up, and, we had a business that called that they had pallets of water if we wanted to go pick it up, because they heard we were handing out water, and picked that up, and I think before that evening, before that afternoon, we thought we were going to hand out, 1,400 cases, and then it went to 2,000, and then it went to 2,200. And before the evening was out, at the fairgrounds, there was a little over 2,500 cases handed out. Again, I just can't say enough about this court. It's been a pleasure, really, to work with y'all. We did have issues. Don't get me wrong. I've asked counsel, and I even asked Dr. Lane if we could at some point have a meeting with everybody to figure out how we sort of fill in some of these holes and issues that we had. So hopefully we can get that put together. Hold something at the Civic Center, and again, it won't be a rock throwing contest because, just for everybody's information, we got bigger rocks. So, but it'll be one of those that. It's just, again, it won't be a rock throwing contest. It'll be something that we can all sit down and figure out, if we ever go through this again or anything close to this, how, we help each other. I will tell you, it was a team effort. You had, and I start naming people. I'm gonna forget somebody if I do. Well, y'all know who you are. You had fire department, both fire departments. You had tankers from precinct 2 for water for the hospital. You had police, sheriff. Hell, anything we needed. I think every morning, sheriff, and maybe twice a day you called. What else do you need? I will tell you also the commissioners. I got a phone call at least once a day, from commissioners, but it was, city crews. I hadn't worked, you know, on my personal business, I worked with a couple of them, but, you know, this go around, we had a chance to work with a lot of the crews from the city, and they were just like, you know, what do we need to get done? You know, John at the EOC Center, you know, it was just, you know, it was impressive, and I hate saying that, because people think that, something like I, you know, sort of enjoyed it. There was no way in hell. I mean, it was one of those deals that people were up to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, one morning up until 4, then had to get back up at 6:30, and it wasn't, you know, everybody was pulling their weight. You know. Again, is there things that we're gonna have to do different, things that we're gonna look at? Yes, of course. But again, without y'all, I just, you know, people don't realize the communications that we had and the things behind the scenes, you know, just moving trucks or moving a trailer or moving a generator or getting water, going to go pick up water, moving food. You know, I think all 4 of y'all, I shouldn't say I think, I know all 4 of y'all did food distributions, you know, stuff that was really needed. And again, I'm going to ask, and I did yesterday with City Council, and I did ask for Dr. Lane if we could, you know, sort of meet together. You know, on our side, I know that we're going to have to buy a couple of generators a little bit bigger than what we can carry in a truck. The school had 4,000 gallons, and I needed a generator that was 125 amp, 220, and I couldn't find one. You know, I mean, everything I had was, you know, 50, 80 amps. But we're gonna have to look at, you know, on our part, you know, we were offered 4,000 gallons of diesel, and I couldn't get shit out of the hole. I mean, you know, it's like, there it is, we just couldn't get it. You know, Anthony Kusenberger, Billy Wiley, you know, Billy took water to the jail. We were all running around trying to get water to everything else and move water trucks. You know, and Billy took, you know, sort of relieved that pressure off of us and took a truck to the jail. Anthony Kusenberger, the hospital needed 3,000 gallons of red diesel. You know, I told Anthony, I'll just put a damn dye in it, we'll just call it red. You know? But he took care of it. You know, he made sure that they were full. He also set aside 3,000 gallons. I mean, and the list goes on of people that just stepped up. You know, our representatives. You know, I know that Michelle was on text message with me constantly. At some point, you know, I wish she just quit. But I really do appreciate it, Michelle. I know yesterday or day before when you asked me about a declaration or whatever, I was a little bit rough. But you know, you text me back and we moved on. You know, so I appreciate that. Tony, Mr. Gonzalez, thank you so much. You know, just, you know, we can't say enough. I think, you know, this is stuff we'll have to learn and go through. Again, you know, if you want to come up here and make a couple of comments, and then we'll open it up to the commissioners and see if they have any questions or anything, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
All right?
Where do you want me?
Just right in front, so that way the little camera can see you.
Right here, or on the other side?
You're perfect.
Okay.
You're perfect. You're a little bit taller than most people.
Yeah, I will just reiterate, you know, a lot of people don't plan for emergencies that happen like this. And when they do, it goes back to that fight or flight, right? People either come together or they don't. And the communities that came together are the ones that are better off for it. This was one of those communities. Everybody worked on it from a local level, state level, and federal level. So I'm grateful for everything that y'all have done. I do want to give y'all an update on a state level and on a federal level of what is kind of happening. So one, I was with the governor yesterday. Governor flew to San Antonio to distribute some water, and he had a couple updates. One is they're making a strong push to make sure electricity bills don't get out of hand. There's been some talk of that. I think you're going to see from a state side to do away with that. Another one is to alleviate some of the plumbing regulations to help get plumbers out to the places they need to be. And then the last part is to make sure this doesn't happen again, right? I think that's very important. From a federal standpoint, I'll give you an update. You know, the Texas delegation has been working in a bipartisan manner. Like, this isn't a Democrat or Republican issue.
this is a Texan issue, right? So the Texas congressional delegation has come together and has asked President Biden to consider all 254 counties to be designated as disaster, not just 77 counties. I know Valverde wasn't one of those counties. That will come into play later on as we're trying to get resources to kind of fill some of the FEMA bills that have come out. So I'd ask just everybody, please submit any issues you have through the right processes. There's a FEMA website. I'll make sure my staff gets that out to the judge and to the commissioners. There's a state website. Please go out there and fill that out because it helps in that argument of why we need to be designated a disaster relief. And then the other thing I'll mention is this, is I want to continue to work with the community on finding federal grants that I think can make an impact. Not only now, but later on, whether that's economic development grants, whether that's mental health, whether that's, you name it. There's a lot of different federal grants that are out there. They're difficult to find, but let's find them together. Let's work through that together. But honestly, I'm here to listen. I'm here to hear what issues y'all have and to see how I can be helpful. And I just want to thank you again.
You know what? No. Thank you, sir, for making the time. On the mental health, I mean, we had that issue also because, well, we've had it. Did he tell you something you need to say?
Yeah, he reminded me of Laughlin.
Okay. No, and on the mental health, you know, we've always had the issue, not enough funds. Can't get enough people.
Yes.
But we saw it right now during the during the winter storm, during this event. We just couldn't get help, you know, and he, you know, when I say he, sheriff, I mean, we went to go try to find people, try to get them help, you know, just can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, we've got people that had sat in our jail for a little bit. I think we got people, we got one of them released right off the bat. But it was one of those things that funds for that, and then, you know, I think, we sit with, a group that is trying to build a facility in Uvalde. Uvalde's already given them, I think 5 acres and already kicked it up to 10 acres, looking to, drawing plans for that facility. But at the end of the day, you know, even if we were to get enough funds to build it, you still have to run it.
That's right.
You know, and that's where, you know, it's bad enough having to build it and then you just.
Now what?
Yeah, that's just it. Now what? Where are we going from here?
Exactly.
You know, we had issues with individuals that did have mental health issues during this storm that we were out looking for, trying to, you know, get them help, get whatever, and they don't understand. You know, Pobrecitos, they just, you know, they don't want to go to a shelter. They don't want to do this. They don't, you know, and it's difficult, you know, and who do you call? And the people you call, you know, hell, they're not there.
Right.
You know, no help at all. You know, so, again, this thing here opened up a lot of other problems for us, you know, but we've always had the mental health. Don't get me wrong, it just sort of, you know, got bigger.
Of course.
But, you know, I texted you all the other night also, you know, what do we need help in? Well, right now, you know, you had 77 counties out of the 254 designated. You know, you had 42 of those 77 that had not done a declaration. You had 190 counties in the state that had not done a declaration, but 42 out of 77 hadn't done a declaration, so it can't be that the declaration was the key, because there was a higher percentage that had not done it. Right? So you look at us, and we set record rates for snowfall. We were under ice and snow for 6 days or 7 days, which other communities weren't.
Sure.
Right? And some of the ones that weren't got this designation. You know, like I asked Mr. Morales and you know, other people and individuals. We were on the phone. When did we go out to the day? Saturday? Sunday?
Yeah, when they delivered that.
Yeah, whenever they delivered it, we were on the phone with other representatives, state representatives, and you know, it's like, if there was a piece that I missed, I'd love to know what that piece is. That way we sort of write it on the chalkboard and make sure we don't miss it again. But we couldn't figure out how
And I'm not throwing rocks at the 77 other counties. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
damn glad that they got it.
Yeah.
But how did you miss it? How did we get missed? You know, out of the 254 counties, how did 77 get picked?
Yeah.
And, since the governor also, had filed a disaster for the whole state.
Exactly.
And I don't think you can pick any one of the counties that did not have damage.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, I texted you the other day, and you asked what, and I said, well, we need help, and the help is money.
Yep.
You know, at the end of the day, you know, that's what's gonna help us get through this. You know, I was with the city yesterday. You know, they're gonna have roads that are gonna go to shit. I mean, they
Yeah.
just, and I understand they've got water treatment plant, they have other issues. But we're gonna have to drive over these roads. You've got potholes right now that they're not gonna have enough money to fix. Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't been out, you know, I haven't done an assessment on Dolan and the roads that y'all have out there. You know, a bunch of them are just caliche roads.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna tear them up, you know, and I know that, if people want to say, why is he talking about that? Well, we already know that we're gonna have issues with water. We already know we're gonna have issues with our infrastructure.
Yes.
You know, here, our electricity, and how we're gonna do that better. But if we can't get to this stuff, you know, I mean, it just don't matter.
Yeah, and not to mention the migrant increase that you have, right?
Well,
You know, and I'm with you. It's great that water has been mostly restored, electricity is restored, but now what? There's all these long-term effects. I would just say that there's a hard push to get all the counties through. And it's not just one person that's asking for it, it's everybody. Because really, every county is in the same boat. It's just some have been able to, for various different reasons, able to get it. The reality is we're not gonna stop until all the counties get it.
And I will tell you that right here, you know, we were out Saturday, and we just rigged up stuff for some of these big buildings, you know, I mean, we went from 2 inch to 1.5 inch back up to 2 inch just to be able to hook it up, that way they have water.
Yeah.
You know, our citizens right now, there is nothing, in none of our stores as of Sunday that they can go get, you know, the small stuff is gone, the 1/2 inch, the 3/4 inch, those fittings are gone. You know, these people, you know, a lot of them, we have a big group that are very humble. You know, so it's gonna be difficult, you know, I know that I had some people last night that, you know, what do we do? And I said, well, go to Acuña. You know, go to Acuña, because for some reason, they still had a lot of the supplies that we needed. So, you know, I had quite a big group that were telling me, look, I don't have this, I don't have that, let's go to the house, and if you can find it, you can't, go to Mexico. But, you know, but it's one of those deals though that, our citizens are gonna need a lot of help. So without the designation, I mean, you know, and again, it's all about the money.
Yeah.
You know, even if they fixed it, you know, now I ain't got enough money to eat.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
I mean, these repairs ain't gonna be, you know, $5, $10, $15. You're talking about hundreds of dollars. You know, I had a plumber this morning that he texted, he's working on one of our buildings. And, he was yesterday at a couple of homes, and then, you know, he said every time they fix something, they turn it back on and something else is breaking. They fix it. He said, so we're gonna have, a lot of these homes that are plumbed,
Yeah.
they're gonna have to be all of it replumbed.
Yeah.
You know, so it isn't just the plumbing. Now we get into the sheetrock. Now we get into the commodes. Now we, you know, it's a constant, it's gonna be a constant battle for us.
Absolutely, for a while, probably, till everything kind of gets taken out. The other thing that I'll share is there is a large push to figure out what happened to make sure it doesn't happen again. Because that's the other thing. This can't be the norm. If this happened, what happened, and how do we fix it, right? And instead of pointing fingers at who's,
Just
we
fix
don't
it.
care about that, right? It doesn't matter. All that matters is how do we move forward to make sure it doesn't happen again? And there's a lot of attention from a federal standpoint, from a state standpoint, that I think is just absolutely the right thing to do, to not put Texans in this situation again going forward. That's one. And I'll just say, like, look, I want to work together to how can we get some of these federal grants to here in Alberta County to make sure that we transform this community, right? Whether it's economic development, whether it's whatever it is, let's find ways to work together. I think at the end, that alleviates some of the stress on the county, right? Because the reality is your revenue has been cut in half because of the border has been limited, right? Then you had COVID and all the other. I want to mention briefly about COVID as well. Is
is, I know it's been difficult to get some vaccines out here. I know we've pushed to designate, Del Rio as a vaccine hub. We're gonna continue to push for that. I know there's another vaccine that just got approved. That'll alleviate and get more vaccines out. I'm making a hard push to get the vaccines out everywhere, specifically though, to the communities on the border. Because what's happening is, you have this influx of migrants coming over, right, wrong, or different, doesn't matter, they're here. And what is happening is, it's just gonna impact those border communities. I'm pushing hard to get the vaccines from a federal standpoint. From a federal standpoint, as far as this, get the vaccines to the local communities, let the local communities take care of the rest. The issue isn't the local communities putting shots in arms. The issue is, they don't have enough vaccines.
Yeah, no, if we had it, we distribute it.
That's right.
You know, we were on a conversation that one of the Saturdays that we were there, that we were still showing 1,000 that we had and this and that. And I said, I don't know what's wrong with the system, but we don't have shit. You know, I've got 975 sitting out there by 2 o'clock. We'll give out all 975, brother. And they said, well, you need to distribute earlier during the week. I got it on Thursday, folks. You know what I mean? And by Saturday it's gone. So, you know, if you get it to me on Monday, maybe we can do something. But you get it to me on Thursday, and I don't even know when it, I know that I'm allotted, I know that it's coming, and then all of a sudden, it's here. Right? So I get it on Thursday, we give it out on Saturday, and we give out everything that we have. You know, it wasn't 300, it wasn't 400, 975, and we were able, because of the vials and what's in the vial, to give out 1,224. We didn't mix vials or nothing like that, but 1,224 vaccines. So if we get it, we'll administer it. But like I said right now, we're just not getting it.
And you have my commitment to keep pushing on that forefront. I don't want to let the shiny object of the day kind of take us away from some of these long-term issues. The other thing I want to mention is Laughlin. And you mentioned it earlier, how they were able to get water, right? They were able to get water at the base and kind of get it distributed. I think stories like that are key. And one of the things is, so I'm on the appropriations committee. I'm on the subcommittee for military construction and veteran affairs, which BRAC falls under. So it's my goal to make sure Laughlin Air Force Base is BRAC secure for decades. We don't have to worry about that. And the way we do that is we bring more missions to Laughlin, right? We hold the missions we have, we bring more missions here, we improve quality of life, right? The housing, all those type of resources, the CDC, the Child Development Center. So I'm working very closely with the base to make sure, because I know it's a staple in this community, to make sure the base doesn't go anywhere ever.
Y'all have any questions for him? Because they already got up, so he's given 2 more minutes.
The only issue I've got, and I appreciate everything y'all done, is we've got to get this designation. We've got businesses that have gone through a lot before this happened, and now they've been out of business for a week, and they lost all of their produce, and now we can't get more produce. And, you know, we've got to get some help to these businesses, because if we can't prop them up and get them going, I mean, this could be the one thing that makes them go under after dealing with all of the COVID issues. So the sooner we can get some funding to these businesses and start helping them along with the residents, but we've got to prop these businesses up that are in deep trouble right now.
I was trying not to use that. I was trying not to use that word.
I agree with you, and I'll go a step further. Is another thing that isn't getting talked about is livestock, right?
Oh, yeah.
Ranchers and farmers, right? Everybody's worried about these other, and I get it. But a lot of these ranchers and farmers have been decimated. It already was a tough season. And now their livestock, keeping them alive. So we just put together a letter. We sent it to USDA asking for specific female relief for ranchers and farmers. Because that's an area that I think impacts not only Valverde, but also other parts of the state in general. But I'm with you. We're going to continue.
And I appreciate that.
Congressman, I thank you for that.
We spend a fortune trying to keep our livestock alive during this mess.
Absolutely.
You know? And on top of that, lost livestock that runs to death. But-
Yeah, I was hearing stories where the community was coming together, hauling water
Yeah.
out to keep their livestock alive.
I was hauling it out of my swimming pool.
Yes,
Do you have any other questions? Why don't y'all come around, we'll get a picture, we all got our masks on.
Get around, come around.
Commissioner Wardlaw, if you wanna get on this other side too?
Yeah, you belong on that side.
All right, start with Karen, work our way down here, I guess.
Go over here and we'll go that way.
Okay.
There you go.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay.
And Lisa,
1, 2, 3.
you took us out.
I would tell y'all to smile, but, you know, can't tell anyways to do with your eyes, I guess. Thank y'all so much.
One more.
I'm gonna take one more.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Means a lot to come down.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Now let's work something that gets all the way through and done. Let's get some of these grants. Exactly.
Oh, no, I know.
No way that lambs survive something.
Right, that's right.
And I've got a lot of them. They're
Yes.
all in.
Yes.
They're all iron.
We need pictures, proof.
Yeah. Oh, that's Thank you again for everything.
All right, thank you.
I'm gonna do, yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Good to see you.
Hey.
Thank y'all.
Saddest picture.
Let's just go ahead, and we're gonna break to go into executive session. Let me read this real quick. I don't know if we have anything. If we don't, then we'll just come right back out. But, item 54, closed session consultation pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071, parentheses 2, attorney-client privilege. B, 551.071, parentheses 1, parentheses A, contemplated litigation. And if y'all will give us the room, we'll go into executive session. I don't know if we have anything, but just to make sure that we cover our bases. I don't know who's suing us today, so.
I need to get home.